Before I even begin, I just want to put it out there that I'm so happy to be live and I do have a lot to share. I'm also in the middle of a pretty heavy duty windstorm, so we've already lost our power twice, and so far so good. So far so good. We still have power, but if for some reason the live stream goes off, that means I suddenly have no electricity or Wi-Fi, and I live in a valley, so I'm not connecting to any satellites here. It's an interesting place that I live. But anyway, welcome. Really happy to be here, and I'm going to just give it a few moments for people to come in and join before I begin. This final, well, I say final, because what is today? The 29th of December. One of the final. Hi, Dustin. Hi, Give It to God, 77. One of the final readings for 2025. And woo, what a year it's been. For sure, a massive, massive turn everything upside down. I have a deeper understanding as to why this year was, for me, it seemed to be a lot of stop and go, open, close, go this way, no, go this way. But we've had a lot of tests, and we're not quite out of the woods with the tests. But when I say tests, really we're coming into sovereignty. We're learning how to think for ourselves. Because really, truly, you want to take a look at who and what is controlling your perception of yourself, of life, of this experience that we're having here on the planet. The end of this year, we've had a lot of challenging aspects. And I say challenging because it's emotional. Jupiter in retrograde in Cancer, Cancer being our vulnerability, our inner child wounds, in square to Chiron, our inner child wounds. And a lot of it is linked to the family dynamics, or things that you have experienced throughout your life, through your family. So of course this happens through the holidays, so we can get an up close and personal view of some maybe unhealed, unprocessed stuff. And whether it was extreme for you or it was just like, oh, I see you again, which was kind of my experience. I did have a moment which was a little different, but I was seeing the that which triggers or upsets us, that gets us worked up and upset. It's important to take a look at, why am I so upset about this, instead of just turning it around and projecting it towards others. Because if you look at the agenda, and I'll look at the chat in a minute, if you see the agenda on the world stage, it really is to divide us. Because when we are against each other, when we are blaming each other, when we are in fear of being vulnerable and open and loving each and every one of us, we're easily controlled. Very easily controlled. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Been a crazy year, many tests, yes. Dustin says, it was like being on a dance floor and the music kept changing from country, then heavy metal, then jazz, then techno. Yes. Hi, Jessica. Oh, speaking of songs, this was one thing I wrote down because I found it really interesting. I came across this, I forget where. It might have been Instagram. But Sammy Hagar had put out a song in 1977, and it was called Crack in the World. And in this song, the lyrics spell out to the T what we are experiencing, what has really come alive in 2025. And he mentions 2025. I highly suggest looking up the lyrics to this song. It was published or put out in 1977, and it's called Crack in the World. It blows my mind. We get these previews, we get these downloads way ahead of time. And I've learned that even when I get messages and I do readings, sometimes they're so far ahead of time, they're not clicking with people right off the bat, unless you're really, really doing that inner work on a day-to-day basis, really constantly present, taking accountability for your thoughts, your beliefs, your emotions without projecting. So yeah, that was pretty crazy. I just wrote a couple things down, but really I wanted to talk about this energy at the very end of this. We're coming into some more grounded energy. And as we move into January, I would say after the full moon is on the 4th or the 5th of January. And that full moon's really going to be a big spotlight for us. Like, that's kind of like a completion. Hi, Amy. Hi. I was wondering what happened to you guys. So January 9th, for whatever reason, feels like it's going to be some really crazy, powerful energy. But we're going to have a lot of a whole new, the way I see it is we live in this inverted matrix. It's so funny because when I talk about the visuals that I get, and I was even doing this last night with a bunch of people sharing the visuals that I got, and everybody says the same things. They keep saying, it sounds like the new episodes of Stranger Things. And see, I don't have Netflix. I watched like the first series years ago, but I haven't watched Stranger Things, and maybe there's a reason why I don't have Netflix. I could, but I just don't. But it's funny, the visuals I get are in connection to a very popular series that is out on Netflix right now that people are watching. Not in the same to the same degree, but anyway, we're in this inside, well, I guess they call it the upside down world, right? But we're in this inverted matrix that everything goes against our true nature. And there's a lot of control, power and control tactics for mind control, mental manipulation. And that's been going on. And we're in like a whole nother almost pandemic of mental manipulation all over again. And you can see it really clearly if you're really paying attention. So that's why it's important for us to not be swayed by any outside influences, and why we are going through these passages of Jupiter retrograde in Cancer, squaring Chiron, which is really just helping us to heal from old wounds so that we are no longer a victim. So we are no longer playing in these patterns of the savior complex, the victim mentality. And I saw a lot of that within myself being highlighted. I saw it though, and I wasn't getting swept away with it, but it was just an indicator of this is just something for you to take a look at. I love Stranger Things. I do want to watch. I think I'll be allowed to watch it soon. I say allowed because like anytime I try to do something like that, something happens where I'm just not able to. It's helping us see, why are we so sensitive to specific things, certain things that upset us, certain things that trigger us, to get to the root of it, to heal from all of that. So we are not, comfortable being open and vulnerable, but in our sovereignty, in our true power. So this is a lot of deep inner work we've been doing. And we are coming, many of us are coming to a whole new way of being, a whole new way of perceiving life. And that's changing our vibration, it's changing our energies. Um, I wrote down empath overload. So those of you who understand what I'm talking about, this is just those of us who are super sensitive to energy. And we do have a lot of frequencies that are natural, and we have a lot of frequencies that are not natural. And so we're kind of battling and swimming in between the two. Every time we have the natural frequencies elevating through solar flares, through cosmic rays coming in. At the same time, we have unnatural frequencies that are trying to block that and bring us back down into a lower vibration, either through the chemtrails, like all the heavy metals that are being put out into the air and the soil and the water, and you name it, it's everywhere. Wi-Fi, 5G, microwave, our bodies, we are adaptable, but it's important to understand you can feel the difference in the frequencies. And the empath overload, I'll tell you, it's important to know what's yours. Because what I've been experiencing, especially in the last week or two, have been, and I have always had this ability where I would say, like, somebody close to me breaks their leg and I don't know it. My leg will hurt really bad. Like today I had knee pain, and I do know who's having knee pain, somebody that's in my life. I've been having a lot of teeth pain. My granddaughter is getting teeth. They're coming in. I'm feeling everybody, because like they're not cavities, it's just this radiating pain. I'm feeling everybody's stuff. And it is important to hold space and take space and time for yourself and really ground. Work with your energy to salt baths. I've been really upping my magnesium, and I find that I can get that naturally through cacao. So I've been drinking that every morning, which actually gives me a nice boost, but it also allows my body to absorb the magnesium that naturally derives in the cacao versus taking a pill, which, you know, even if you buy the high end, you just don't know how well your body is absorbing these things. Yes, joy and contentment surrounds all of us. I'm so happy to hear there's a lot of happy people out here. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Good. And we are moving into a beautiful time of, so 2025 was a year of really completing everything from the past and getting deep in there and seeing our patterns, seeing our behavior, seeing the things that trigger us. We've had a lot of openings and closings, and it's been a roller coaster ride of energy and emotion. But I do see, and it's coming very quickly, where we'll be moving into a space where we're already feeling more grounded, more content, more happy. But this is a time, 2026, where many of us, it's time for us to output, to create it. And we've felt it all 2025. It's like, why isn't it happening yet? It's happening in dribs and drabs, but I've got this passion. And so 2026, this is the time to co-create with spirit. There's a trinity there. So we've had a lot of ego checks in 2025, because we are not just the creators, we are co-creating, specifically in 2026. I wrote, be the example. This is a really important time for us to, we've gone through the tests, the trials, the tribulations, the spiritual battles, the frequency battles. We've met our inner child, we've met our shadow, and we've had a lot of the cosmic mirror showing us those things through other people and places and things, especially at the end of this year, but throughout the last, I don't know, many years. But this year was a doozy. And we kind of knew that. The split in humanity is becoming much more apparent to many more people. And so we don't want to fall for any of the propaganda. We don't want to fall for any of the fake news, there's so much out there that's put out there to confuse the mind and cause fear. But it's also important for us to not judge those who do, because this has happened to humanity throughout time, throughout history. This is not new. It's just a new form of it. It's a new way of controlling the mind. So let's not judge those who do fall for it. And I think that's one of the biggest, the hardest things, because that goes into our families, our loved ones, people that we care deeply, and we care deeply about all humans. This is part of the game. And so we are the influence. We are the influencers. We are the examples, and we set the ripple effect for others, because when they get to a point of depletion and exhaustion and confusion, suddenly there's a ripple, a wave of humans, of souls that are anchoring in the true light, the heart-centered, unconditional love, the natural ability to be on this planet, be here, but not of it. And there's many of us. It's actually a beautiful thing. We stand for life. We stand for love. We stand for freedom. We give that to ourselves by not falling for the propaganda, falling for the ridiculous rules and regulations and other things. I mean, don't put yourself out there to the point of getting in trouble, but you know what to do if you follow your intuition. Remain open to receiving spiritually. People are waking up, and they're waking up to the unconsciousness, which means they're waking up to the dark. And when they wake up to the dark, that causes a lot more fear and wanting to retract and not connect. But that's a temporary phase of the journey of awakening to becoming more conscious. So the more of us, again, who can be the change, be the example, be the influence of groundedness, of natural, loving souls, be responsible for our own happiness, take accountability for our energy, our thoughts, our beliefs, what we put out there in the energy field. That ripple effect is felt, and is important that we hold the line, hold the light. So that's what I've got. I was receiving a lot of messages last night, along with a lot of energies. So I didn't take the time to really write them all down, and I feel like they will come up once I get going with the cards. Let's see what you're saying. Yeah, and the more of us that come together and realize that we're all interconnected here. Amy, for me, I've moved from a place of harsh judgment of others and the beliefs of others to a place of gratitude for being able to experience higher levels of love and acceptance. Yes, same, beautiful. Dustin, yes, Amy, observing those that are controlling and judgmental are just suffering from lack of self-love and No need to take their actions personally. That's right. Also, fear. Fear will create monsters. I look at myself years ago when I lived in survival and fear. That shadow aspect of myself was the driving force. That was the only, my ego, my mind was telling me was the only way I was going to survive. And I think many of us can relate to that. We're moved out of survival. And the passage to moving out of survival can be a little more scary for the ego than being in survival, because we realize we actually don't have control, and we don't want to try to control. It's important to connect to yourself, to your soul, to your guides, and flow through life intuitively. Yes, Amy, I love that. The reward for our work is not what we get, but who we become. Yeah, and how does that feel? That's the reward. Feels free, liberating, like weights dropped off of the shoulders, the back, the body. Yeah, totally resonates. All right, so I'm going to get into some cards. Actually, I'm sorry, I have to fill my water up. I didn't fill that up. So talk amongst yourselves. I'm just going to fill up my water and then we'll get into some cards, okay? Sorry about that. Okay, so something came to me to share as I was filling up my water, which I feel like many of us already know, but I'm just going to share this here anyway, because starting 2026, but more so, I mean, it's just glimpses in 2026, more than glimpses. Okay, there's going to be openings. So how do we start this? Many of us are aware that we are not the only species in the universe, and humanoids. Many of us have had contact with other beings, have seen or have heard or just have felt. And there are so many, I'm not even going to go into them all. There was once a time where we all did live cohesively together. And you can go back into old artwork even, and you'll see and ancient ancient carvings and hieroglyphs, and you'll see the interminglings of many beings with humans. So we're reaching an age, a tipping point where that's going to start to filter back in slowly, introducing back into this experience that we're having here on Earth, more beings. So a lot of people talk about contact, or how do they say, exposure, or obviously the powers that think that they have control are also aware of all of this. And so there's an agenda on that side as well to make it appear. It's very interesting how technology has advanced so quickly. And it is interesting also that many of us can clearly tell when something is generated by AI or is not real. But when we're talking about other beings that we can imagine, but we haven't really been face to face with, it's going to require discernment. But they're saying it's going to be a slow introduction. But here's where the fear-based tactics come in again. And what was the point of sharing this? Hold on. I'm trying to go back to where we were beginning, 2026 into 2027. Okay. There's some things that I just can't put out here on YouTube, which I did start. I am starting a private thing where we can discuss this in more detail. The AI created images are creepy. And see, this is where like you feel, and many of us can even just see, we're like, that's, yeah, creepy and weird. Amy, Sirius energy coming in strongly lately. I see it in the night sky. It's so bright. Yeah, love the Sirius energy. Dustin, I see there's 12 people in here now. I'm in California. Oh yeah, where are all of you guys from? Everybody, welcome. Hello and welcome. For those of you who are new, my name is Paige. I am a psychic medium, student of astrology, and much, much more. I don't like to label it, but we all have these abilities, and I just am sharing with you what comes through me, what I experience, what I'm shown, what I see. Okay, now they're saying clones. Okay, so we're getting into some sci-fi stuff here now. Cloning is very real. It's very interesting how much disclosure is coming out, or let's say not disclosure, but people with their own platforms, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, sharing their conspiracy theories. But it's interesting how many doctors are coming out, veterinarians, people in those professional practices. I came across one woman who was a nurse and a midwife who's talking about, and she's from the UK, that the placenta is worth 50 grand on the market. And when we have a baby, they clamp that off right away, which you shouldn't. You should allow the blood flow, all of those stem cells for the baby to receive that before you cut the cord. But then they say they just take the placenta off to this incinerator, but they're like, but do they? And if they are selling these placentas for the stem cells and the blood, this is very nutrient rich. If they're selling it, they should be giving the parents the money. Anyway, there's so many things. That's not what I was going at, but that was like a basic thing. The cloning. So there's going to be a lot of things that are opening up in 2026 that is going to cause a lot of confusion, a lot of fear. This is where we come in. It's very important that we remain very calm, speak our truth, but also use discernment, know what somebody can handle and what they cannot. And that's been my experience for the last couple of years, because when people get to know me, I can start to open up more, and there's a resonance. We have to allow our energies to merge first. Trust is a big thing. Hello, Rachel, new subscriber, welcome. Hi, Bria. We have a lot of new people here. Dindord, I believe in cloning. After this stream, I can't believe that vegan teacher is multiplying through YouTube. I don't know who a vegan teacher is, but that's awesome. Um, so yeah, there's a lot. There's a lot that has been covered up, that has been hidden, that is being unearthed. And speaking of unearthed, a lot of things are already starting to be shown. It started with the pyramids, what's underneath the pyramids, and that it's not at all what we've been told. They're finding remnants of civilizations in the ocean, and there's still a big why are we not allowed to explore Antarctica? I mean, there's so much we could talk about there, right? But these things are being opened up and revealed. Through 2026 is going to be more of a big reveal. By 2027 through 2030, it's like you can't deny that we have been lied to forever. Like whatever was written as history is nothing but a story, like a story to manipulate our perception of what is this really? What are we doing here? What is all of this? Many of us already know that Atlantis, we have memories of when before I really had my mind blown. The only thing I knew about Atlantis, truth, was that my uncle had an Atari video game named Atlantis when I was a kid. That was the only thing I knew. I knew nothing. Like actually I did not care about history because I knew like intuitively nothing really added up. I knew how I was feeling and I would get visuals. I remember going to, I forget what the cathedral is in London, but King Arthur's crypts are down in the crypts. His tomb is down there, and I stood on it, and boom! I had all these visuals and flashes of memory, right? And it wasn't at all what I was taught. So yeah, I always like to say history is his story. It's not the truth. Not the truth at all. Yes, Amy. That's why I never had that. She said maybe those 23andMe DNA tests were just a form of harvesting for clones and information. Yeah, I never had one of those done. And it's so funny how many people were like, prompting me to do that. And I was like, I can tell you that I'm Pleiadian. No, I can tell you that I have a little bit of this, a little bit of that, but not know what you're talking about, right? Oh yes, give Jess our love. Love to Jess. Dustin, clones were said to have existed in Atlantis from both Rudolf Steiner and Edgar Cayce. Oh yeah, there's I am convinced by my own experiences that clones are very real. And I have a way of seeing and telling. I've come across not many, but a few, and you can see it again in the eyes. I can see everything in someone's eyes, everything. I can see their entire history and lineage through their eyes if I really sat there and received. For the longest time in my life, I had a hard time making eye contact with people because I would receive so much information that I just did not want to know. That's changing, but yeah, so all of this disclosure is coming out, and right now people are still called crazy or conspiracy theorists, but how many conspiracy theorists now exist on social media? A lot, right? So eventually that's tipping the scales. More and more people are, especially, it doesn't even matter the generation. More and more people are really waking up, and you start to see the ridiculousness of the state of everything. Okay. So with all that said, do we have anything else? But again, this is just why it's important that we had to go through all of the things that we went through, doing the deep inner work and really getting to the deep truth of ourselves and the deep understanding as to how the other side and our guides and our team and our star brothers and our star families are speaking to us through other people, through things. I get so many messages just through common conversation. People don't know that they're channeling, but we all channel from time to time. When they want to get through to me through somebody, usually they'll come through my son, but or my grandson. But if I'm not listening, if I'm not paying attention, I'm instantly going to get and receive a message that's telling me, pay attention, because you don't want your grandson giving you this message, 555, 555. And I'm like, okay, he's only 4. So it's funny. Oh, David Icke is back on YouTube now. Awesome. Yes, and to know about those that reincarnated to hold this light in this shift of ages. So much can be found in the blood or DNA, and the dark warlocks can actually find info on past lives. Yeah. Yeah. There's so much we don't know, and that's another thing that's really important in navigating 2026 and beyond, is to realize that we don't know. We know what we know, like in here, in the gut, our inner knowing, and we know what we know from experience, but there's so much we don't know. So it's where you take, I just learned this last night, one of my girlfriends who's a medium, she goes, I take my ego and I plop it onto the chair before I walk into the room. We have to check our ego over and over and over again and really trust that there's a lot of beauty, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of light that's come onto this planet. It's undeniable. There's a lot of attempts to infiltrate that light, but I feel like most of us are holding that light, and there's nothing that can be done at this point. Nothing that can be done. Now it's just for the next wave who are just starting to wipe the sleepies out of their eyes and like, okay, wait, what? So again, it's an honor, it's a privilege, and life is going to get really exciting and interesting for sure, if it isn't already. Yes, be humble, be open, be authentic, be kind, be the change. That's right. And when I say these things, I'm speaking to myself as well. I'm speaking from experience as well. All right. What message do you have for us? It was so interesting how I decided to go live. I created the live. I told Dustin, and then my power went out. And I was like, no, it might not happen. And then it stayed on for a good half an hour. Then it went out. It went out 3 times. And we're holding steady. So hopefully we'll be good. Hello, Olivia. Thank you. At the end, I will offer a 1-card pool for anybody who has a specific question. We're going to limit how many we do, but I do want to hold space for anybody here in the chat that has a specific question. And we'll pull a card for you. All right. What is your message for us? The Emperor. taking our power back, taking charge of our lives, not allowing any type of fear to infiltrate. And we know where our weak spots are, and it's okay to have weak spots, whether it's with money, whether it's within relationship, whether it's with self-confidence. We've been put through many tests, and we're going to be given a lot of opportunities to break through, break free from a lot of that. Yes. My goodness, I got really thirsty all of a sudden. I'm sorry. Okay. Why? Give me one more on the Knight of Voices, please. Okay. Oh. Okay. Overall, we have the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Inspiration. I feel like the passion is coming back. That fire is getting turned back on. Our energy is going to be, I mean, honestly, I have great energy as far as like I'm happy, I'm healthy, but I get tired really easily. And I need a lot more naps, or not even naps, but just downtime, right? But this is beautiful. So the overall message is about reclaiming that passion, that fire that's within, and remembering why we came here at this time. Why are we incarnated here in these specific bodies, in these specific regions of the planet, in the specific, born into the families that we were born into, gone through everything that we've gone. What is it that speaks, is calling? It's a calling, and it's a remembering, and it's they're showing me it's lighting up. That fire is ignited. Naps are better than money. Yeah, I agree. The Emperor, taking charge of our life, taking our power back, being in control, being in the driver's seat, not being swayed by anyone or anything, staying in alignment with the truth of self, with authenticity. Five of Emotions in reverse. Beautiful. Whatever had us being a little, I'm hearing aloof, cold, distant, judgmental. It was based on fear, right? You see the Ice Queen here. It was based on fear. It was boundaries. It was back off. It was, don't mess with my energy. That's part of the path, because we are energetically sensitive. Yet when we're in control, when we're in the driver's seat, nothing and nobody can harm you, harm your soul, unless you believe it. And we have the Knight of Voices that's in reverse. And when I asked why, I got the Nine of Emotions, which the Nine of Emotions, let me just pick up on this a little bit more. So we all have desires and ambitions and dreams and hopes and wishes, and that's not a bad thing. But sometimes we're not ready for it, or that's not the true calling. That's not what we're truly our soul is truly passionate about. So the mind is actually not in charge here anymore. It is how we feel. It is that fire within. And so again, taking control of our lives means taking control of how our mind speaks to us and why is it telling us what it is telling us. For example, say that you have always had a desire since you were like a little kid to be married to the love of your life and be swept off of your feet, the whole Disney fairy tale land thing. And I'm not saying that there's anything wrong with that yet. Sorry, got a phone call. Let me know if you can hear me. Okay, can you guys hear me? Because every time I get a phone call, it cuts me off. Okay, thank you. And thank you, Bria. All right. So it's giving an example of what we're talking about here. And the idea of marriage was sold to us. And as you evolve, as you mature, as you spiritually evolve and mature, you start to recognize that you can still have passion and desire and love for someone, but does it necessarily have to fall into the old patriarchal way of, they're saying ownership, or the desire to be owned, or the desire, like we've had to really dive into these desires and see, where are they really coming from? Are they coming from a place of lack, a place of that desire because there was lack in our younger years? So these are the things that we've had to work through. And I'm only giving that as an example because it's just a common theme that's come up in conversation with people recently. Okay, good. Okay. Do we want to add to this? No. Okay. So they're saying there's one more message here for us all. Okay. We're going in with the big ones. So I'm going to get one more message for us all from the Syrian Starseed Tarot. And those of you who have been with me for a while, you know I like to really read these in the book after I read the cards, because this specific deck is written it's encoded with very specific words about the journey that we're all on to remembering. Hello, one little drop in the ocean. And for those of you, my sun sign is Scorpio. Okay. Okay, that was pretty quick. All right. So this overall message is about the Ten of Crystals. Ten of Pentacles in traditional tarot. Material wealth, material abundance. What it is that we have that's tangible, that we can actually physically use in this realm. When I say in this realm, in this third dimensional realm. And we have the Great Wheel. We're going to read this also from the book. But we all know the Great Wheel, the Wheel of Fortune, the snake eating its tail. Things are turning, things are changing. This is the turn of the times, the turn of the wheel, and there's always a choice. We can continue in the same way that we had been in the past and continue to eat our tail, meaning, oh, what was the story that came up for me the other day? I am not at all religious, nor do I know much about biblical. I know some. I'll probably butcher it a little bit, but there's a moral to the story, and this is reminding me of it. Lot's, L-O-T, Lot's wife. She looked behind her to the past. She couldn't stop looking back, and that turned her to stone. If we keep looking back to the past, and this isn't for healing purposes, but like, I wish things were the way that they were, or waiting for somebody to catch up, you're going to get caught in time. You're going to get stuck in this wheel, repeating the same patterns over and over and over again, which I think is something that we've all realized over the last few years specifically. The astrology was spot on for recognizing our patterns, recognizing our wounds, our triggers, all of those things, and really helping us come to a natural, organic way of healing, getting off the loop of healing. I got to heal this. I got to heal this. No, it is healing. We are moving. Time has sped up and we are evolving. One little drop in the ocean. I found a small dead snake in my backyard yesterday. It had turned silver and is beautifully shaped. Oh, interesting. At the end of the year of the snake. Yeah, that's tropic, Western tropic. Then we have the Five of Chalices, or the Five of Cups. This is what brought me to that story of Lot's wife. If we continue to dwell on the past and what is missing, or what didn't go right, or what we did wrong, or we can't forgive ourselves or others, we will turn to stone. We will be stuck in time. And it's so interesting because I had that experience a few years back. 2019, it wasn't until 2020 I was finally broken out of it, but 2019, I felt like I was put in a timeout for the entire year. Of course, there was a lot of healing, but I kept looking back, and there was a lot that I couldn't forgive of others and of myself. And it truly is, we get turned to stone in a way. We get stuck in time. And here we have the Nine of Crystals again, coming up in the second spread. Nine of Pentacles. When we stop looking back, waiting, hoping, wishing something was different, realizing that we cannot change the past. The past happened, it's over, it's done. The only thing we can continue to do is move forward and forgive and love and be the best versions of ourselves that we can. There's a lot of that in itself is a treasure chest full of jewels and gems, because we have that wealth within us. That wealth is knowledge, it's wisdom, and it's a co-creative ability to experience things that we probably would never even be able to imagine or dream up on our own. This is a time to really let go of holding on to the need to control, and trusting, receiving, opening up to the flow. Let's see if there's anything else they want to add. They're saying that's good. Okay. That's good. That's it. We're not going into the book. All right. All right. Good. Hello, Kaylee. How are you? Give it to God 70. Wait, let me see. Amy, shame and guilt can have that effect. Yep. We must forgive ourselves. Yes. Because if we can't forgive ourselves, we can't move on fully. We're keeping a part of ourselves stuck in the past. And we also take that with us if we truly can't forgive and we leave these bodies and go to the other side. We take that with us to the other side. A lot of the things that we experience in this lifetime, we signed up because they were things that we weren't able to forgive and work through in other life experiences. All right. It's a few more messages, and then I will pull a card for a few of you if you have specific questions. Please write your questions in all caps so I can, it really stands out. And if I do miss, because the chat, there's a little bit of a delay on my side. The chat goes by really fast and it's hard to see once they've moved on. And here's the wind picking up again too. All right. Yes. Another huge, thank you. Anything else? Whew. Yeah. All right. So this is definitely a time for us all to really leave our ego, check our ego, ask our mind, is that true? Whenever something comes up that is not helpful, something that arises that we may want to avoid or run away from, because the ultimate goal is to believe in ourselves, flying high. I believe in me. We have moments of that, but then we also have moments of like, yeah, somebody else can probably say it or do it better. No more. Whatever it is that you want to express, however you want to express it, when it comes from that deep desire, that passionate fire within, do it. We have a ripple effect that affects others, that inspires others to come out of their shell, to express their authenticity. This is a time to level up, and I feel like that's what we're doing here. We are leveling up. Forgiveness was on the split. So yeah, that's the big theme. Huge, big, huge theme. Forgiveness of self, forgiveness of others. And I'll tell you, with Jupiter square Chiron, it definitely has been bringing up past situations that may be showing us where we could do a little bit more forgiveness. We could do a little bit more letting go of. So if you've had any of those experiences recently, I certainly have. Thank you, Amy. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe if you're not subscribed. I know. Oh, thank you, thank you. Give it to God. That's me. And when I try to move forward, it's like I do, then something happens and I think of it again. Yeah, and that's just a layering effect. So don't get hard on yourself because that's just definitely part of the journey. There's multiple layers. And sometimes we think we've gotten over something or we've forgiven, and time will go by and it's like everything's fine, and then boom, it comes back up again. If it's not with the same person or scenario, it's the same theme, it's the same thing. And it's just the universe's way and our guide's way and our soul's way of saying, hey, we're doing another round. It's time to let this go once again. Revisiting that. So I will say, I will announce here, I didn't complete the steps here, but it was interesting because I really didn't plan on it. Usually these things aren't planned. But I had my laptop up and I was in the YouTube studio and there was all of these alerts saying, you really want to start a membership. And I think it was like $2.99 or something like that, where you can get only members only, lives, chats, readings, all of these things. And I think it's monthly. So it's a subscription, but it is contained, meaning the general public doesn't come in unless they sign up and pay and are a subscriber to that. So I filled it all out and I got the email yesterday saying, congratulations, you got this going. So I have to just read to see what the next step is. And I'll just come on and be like, all right, guys, we got members. And it might already be up, but I'm not even sure. I'm trying to keep up with the technology. And I think that was also, it wasn't time for me before. I had a Patreon a while ago, but, and maybe we'll go back there too, because there's so many big topics I want to talk about with all of you that, you know, there's so much that we get. I've been shadow banned so much from YouTube, from just saying things. And in these other platforms or members, you can say whatever you want and chat and discuss however you want and whatever you want. So I will definitely, if you don't see it on my channel yet, I'm going to make sure that I know what I'm doing there and we can all go there. We can do lives. We can do all kinds of stuff. So it seemed like a great opportunity. And really, I think it was only like $2.99 or $3.99 at the most a month. So there's that. Does anybody have any questions that they would like for me to pull a card for? Oh, wait, Dustin. Forgiveness for self and others is big. Yes. I always say this earth is a school and the weekly quizzes are on faith and patience and the final exam is forgiveness. Absolutely. I know you haven't been notified. The only thing I can say that I've heard other people say is try to click the notification bell again. They keep changing things. And every time something changes, it shifts everything. I don't know. You know how technology is. Yes, we are in school. I actually had a dream the other night or morning. I woke up, it was very vivid, and the night before I had a complete emotional breakdown that was I think about it now and it was ridiculous, but it was really deeply held in emotions that I wasn't allowing myself to feel. So the trigger was ridiculous, but it all came up, and I was able to talk to a friend and quickly bring myself back into my body and realize what had happened. I went to sleep. I slept for like 12 hours, but my dream was that I was in high school with my high school best friend, And we had to take our final exam. School was about to be done with for the year. But we had to take a bus, which took us all over and got lost and all over the place, windy roads, and then 2 trains to get to the exam center, which it wasn't at the school. And it was just this whole thing. And then I woke up. I don't even think I made it or took the test, but I knew the whole time I was going to pass the test. And I just laughed because how symbolic was that, right? Like that was a final exam that I had just been taking the long roundabout way to completing it. Okay, so I see we have a question here. I have a question. Is Hinduism the true religion? Do we reincarnate? Well, I will answer yes, we reincarnate. As far as a true religion, I would not say that there is a true religion. Religion is all man-made. We are given the knowledge, the wisdom, the truth, and it's riddled across earth, but it's been dismantled, it's been distorted. And I don't want to say anything bad about religion either. There's no good or bad, but the true knowledge and wisdom resides within you, within each and every one of us. Yes, we do reincarnate. Yeah, for sure. Some souls have been here many, 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 many times, like myself. Other souls have only been here 1 or 2 or a handful of times. I can look at my granddaughter who's 6 months old and in the eyes, and I'm like, she is an old soul. She's like, I'm back again. Here I am again. No, it's very true. Does anybody have any questions for the cards? Perhaps religions are like a divination tool. Yeah. However, you can get to love, forgiveness, and authenticity and freedom, because any religion should not have any fear within them. There is nothing to fear. The soul has nothing to fear. If there's fear, there is some sense of control. Dustin says, I can say religion is personal. Yes, I agree with that. And if it helps and resonates as true for you, that should be all that matters. Yes, agreed. As far as reincarnation, the answer is yes, and the best evidence is in the near-death experience reports. Yes. Near-death experiences, out-of-body experiences, they all report pretty much the same thing. And yes, I would say that also. That's why I didn't want to say there's anything good or bad. If it works for you, and it brings you to a state of connection with the other side, with the truth, with your soul, with the angels, with the guides, with the ascended masters, with God, and it doesn't invoke fear or control, then yeah. But there is no true religion, I don't believe. Oh, it's my cat. All right, well, if nobody has any questions for the cards, I feel like we're going to pull an oracle. Yeah. Um, well, I can hear the kids playing downstairs. Since Dustin mentioned star seeds, we're going to go back to the star seed oracle. Yes, the birthing is hard work, and we were in a lot of labor pains this year, for sure. A lot of contractions, a lot of breathing. A lot of pushing. And I feel that many of us have been reborn. Painful, but worth it, for sure. Just like birth. If birthing a baby was not worth it, then women would only have one and be done. We actually forget that pain shortly after giving birth. It's like the memory is erased because there's so much unconditional love and new life. Your whole life changes. And that's the same with when we are being reborn. We are not going to have the memories of the pain of the past. We may have memory, but it's not going to affect us like holding us hostage, holding us in a place, like again, turning us to stone, keeping us frozen in fear or in waiting for something to be better. Birth and creation go hand in hand. Yes, they do, Amy. All right, here's our message for us right now. And this has been a repeating message for me as we are completing the year of 2025. And we're coming into a full moon that is another powerful, potent time. There's a lot of beautiful energy here, but we are, well, depending on what time, where you are in the world, the northern hemisphere, we are in winter solstice, a time of slowing down, a time of nourishing ourselves, a time of going within, a time of reflection, a time of connection. And we have water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, and rest. I know it's backwards on the live. I don't know why that happens. So if you do feel like, honestly, how did you say it? Naps are worth more than money or something. Like, this is very true. Like right now, it took me a long time to not scold myself for being tired and having to lie down. Now I'm really savoring those moments that I can do that and being extremely grateful that I can, because I know that there's coming a time where I'm going to be very active again, but with that fire, with that passion, not like a slave, exhausted. But it is time to water our garden. Earth is a seasonal planet, and as such, you're a seasonal being. You can't be on and in full bloom month after month, day after day. You're strongly being called to put on the brakes, rest, and refuel. To take a moment to restock and replenish, and slow right on down. Your body is the only body you're given, and it needs to be respected as such. You're being called to take responsibility for your well-being, to put your health and body first. I know it can feel like time is running out and as if there are urgent things that simply can't wait. However, if you keep pushing on, soon fatigue will set in. And something's coming up. They're asking me to stop here. We also have to remember that we are part of the collective stream of energy of all of humanity, of all of life here. And if you see, you know, the season that we're in is a slow down, nurturing, connecting time. But many, many, many humans had been running around stressed out, Christmas shopping or whatever. I've seen so much exhaustion and stress over this hoopla, I call it. It makes me tired just witnessing it. But we're also in that stream. So we have to take good care of our energy, and our body is the housing facility of our energy. Okay, this way of living isn't sustainable. If anyone continues to race through life, eventually they will reach exhaustion, and it will take longer to recover than it would have done to rest. And see, here okay, yeah. At least in the States, I can't speak for other countries, but there's a big profit to be made on our fatigue and our stress and what tolls it takes on the body, right? If we go that route. Even dentistry, I had this conversation. I can't tell you how many people I've had conversations about teeth grinding specifically, teeth breaking off because of stress. Okay, anyway. Sorry to be on my soapbox there. Immune system disorder. Oh, okay, so maybe it's already in the card. Immune system disorders and mystery illnesses are becoming more common because we're putting too much pressure on our bodies to keep up with the instantaneous pace of modern life. How are you being called to put on the brakes, to rest, restore, and rejuvenate? When was the last time you took a holiday or had a full weekend, day, or afternoon off? Look after your precious body and mind. Give yourself enough time to recover when you find yourself running on your reserves. There is enough time. Life will bend towards you when you do. And that is the interesting thing is I've experienced this more times than I can count. I call it bending time. But when I listen to my body, to the energy, and not what I got caught up in, time seems to bend. Things seem to fall into place with much less or no effort at all. So keep that in mind. Let's see what you guys are saying here. Yes, we all do. That's why sometimes you see someone and it feels like you've met them before, known them before. Yes. Give it to God. Yes, we actually know each other, not from this incarnation, but throughout eternity. We have played different roles for each other, for lessons, connection, and growth. Yep. Yes. And there definitely are certain people that we come into contact with, or you might have in your family. It might not be all of them. It could be one specific cousin or brother or sister where you're just like, you and me have done this together for a long time, like many, many lifetimes. You meet somebody and you're like, I already know you. And they feel the same way. It's because many of us do run in like groups or family pods, soul pods. We replay, and this time I'm going to be the mom and you'll be the dad. You know, I'll be the sister, you be the brother, or I'll be the villain and you be the victim kind of thing. What I feel like this incarnation is a little different because of the awakening, right? We're breaking out of those roles altogether. We're no longer playing victim, savior, perpetrator. We're starting to recognize the soul, that namaste, the soul in me sees the soul in you. And that is very true. Very true. Oops. Done with the trauma bonds, yeah. You know, they are great lessons, though. I will say that. Great lessons. And I've come to a point in my journey where I have been able to not only forgive those who I felt had hurt me deeply, whether it be physically, mentally, emotionally, or all of the above, but recognizing them and almost giving a standing ovation, like, great show, good job, you got me good, you got me really good. We have to go through a lot of passages. Unfortunately, they were painful ones, but we incarnate here to experience that which is not ourselves, to put us in situations that are not in alignment and in resonance with us, with love, with our soul, to experience the duality, to remember, to come back to love, to be pulled and stretched so far away from unconditional love, which is not taught to us by many, that it becomes so uncomfortable, cracks us wide open, we hit rock bottom, dark night of the soul, and we come back to love, which is the true, it is the only thing that exists on the other side. This is the only construct that has this form of duality, this play by play. And the thing is, so they're giving me an analogy, stuttering. Why would a soul decide to incarnate here to experience that which is not love, that which is not me? Well, I already started to appreciate my journey when it took me so far away from myself, I lost myself, that when I found myself, that was pure bliss. Imagine that, say you just love ice cream. You love ice cream so much, and you have an abundance of ice cream at any time, any flavor, the tip of your hand. You can have whatever you want. Eventually, you're not loving that ice cream as much as you once did. You actually have to experience something the opposite of ice cream so that you can appreciate and truly love the ice cream again. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. It wasn't the greatest analogy, but that's what it boils down to. Now, I am not naive. I need to gain wisdom and understanding before I can sincerely forgive others or myself. Yeah, and it will happen organically. You don't want to force it. You actually can't. If you try to force forgiveness, it's fake. It's not authentic. And you're forcing a wounded part of yourself to do something. It's like forcing a child to give away its favorite toy. You have to treat those wounded parts of yourself like you would treat a wounded child, because it truly is the wounded child aspect in you. So allow yourself to go through the journey, and organically, eventually, you come to a place like I was explaining. It took me many years, consciously, on this journey for many years before I could get to a place of first forgiving everyone organically, and then being like, wow, you guys did a great job. because I tell you, coming back to true love and knowing yourself fully and honoring and being your full self is bliss. But I lost myself for a good chunk of my life. Played all the roles, you know, wife, mother, full-time employee, and meeting everybody's needs but myself. And then blaming everybody for not meeting my needs. And I think a lot of people do that. That's what we're taught. That is the influence that has been given to us, but it is not the truth. Yeah. Treating the healing as a wounded child. Yep. Dustin says, to be done truly requires forgiveness for self and those that cause trauma. Doesn't mean justification. No, it doesn't mean justification of the actions or reconnecting with the person, but letting go of the victim mentality. Yeah. But I think I'm going to be going to. Thank you, Amy, for being here. Sending you all so much love. This is great to connect with you all. Happy New Year if I don't come back on before then. And I hope that you do find that time of rest and peace through these last few days of the spirit tingles. I love that. I hope that we all give ourselves that nurturing rest, relaxation, peace through these last few days of 2025, because I feel really good about the new energy that we're moving into. And remember, we are the co-creators of what that is going to be. So much love to you all. Thank you for being here. Till next time. And I will announce that members thing as well. So sending you all so much love. Take care. Bye.